Hola familia! Hello art fam! It's Luis Martin, the art engineer, and behind the camera we have...
the one and only Chunky Baker.
Hey Chunky Baker! You guys, thank you so much for purchasing your POC Collage Kit. It is Latino Heritage Month, so we thought it was a perfect opportunity to gather some just beauty and put it in a kit. But why, you ask? Well, as some of you may know, my origin story in collage has a lot to do with not being able to find things that reflected me and my family as a kid. My grandmother used to work in this really fancy convalescent home, and the patients would throw away their Vogues from Italy and France and what have you. And she would bring them home, and they smelled like perfume. They had the colors of like amazingness, and they had like images of Europe and the Riviera, and I thought, oh, I belong there, right? But I never saw anybody that reflected me or that looked like my grandma. So instinctively, I say we because she would tear pages and put them on her wall, kind of like this, but I started collaging and creating things that represented us. So very young, I realized that there was this power in collaging and in art and being able to visualize something so that when I saw it in real life, I could recognize it and grab it and seize it, right? So that's the part of the power of collage for me. So in this kit, you're gonna have everything you need to create your collage. You even have a prompt, which we're gonna do something a little bit different because we're together, but you can take your time and create a prompt that's right behind the label. All you need is a pair of scissors, and if you're fancy like me, an X-Acto blade. Careful with these, but they're fabulous. If you have any questions, please reach out. You know I'm always on Instagram at artengineer or collagedream.com. So like always, this is the safe space. You can create that just with a table, in your kitchen, in a closet, in the bathroom, or you can dedicate a whole room like I have. So get your kit, get yourself a drink, turn on a candle, burn some incense, and let's see what we find. Come on over. So to begin, I always invite people to take their collage kits and start making a pile, right? Go through it and start making a pile of things that just automatically inspire you or catch your eye. Don't judge them, don't look for a reason why you like it, just put them on the side. So that's what we're gonna do. Today, what we're gonna do, also as our prompt, I want us to find images that move us, and we're gonna use those images to tell part of our story. But we'll talk about that more in a minute. For now, let's just start by finding things that inspire us. As always, all of my collage kits have diamonds, you guys, diamonds, because this represents to me opulence and abundance. And again, once you see it and you know what it looks like, you can imagine what it feels like, you're gonna be able to recognize it in life. All right, so you have these amazing double stick tapes, and this is what you're gonna use to glue your collage and adhere your collage. In the back is your canvas. This is gonna be your substrate. This is where we're gonna make our collage. And then to protect it, we can put it back in our bag, right? Another thing I have are dots. So we can play with that in a minute. All right, so really quick, you're like, wait, I thought this was a Latino collage kit. It is. And this is the most amazing part about our Latino heritage in general, is that it's influenced by so many other cultures, right? We're a mix, we're a collage ourselves of so many histories combined together that make our own. So you're gonna find a lot of beautiful things that allude to that. This is a butterfly, it's actually in Colombia. A marmoset. Oh, some African art from Egypt. Beautiful little girl from South Africa, because there is a large Afro-Latino community as we're getting to see more of that culture influence, how it's been part of ours from the get-go. And of course, San Francisco. I'm from California. Hello, California was Mexico, right? So all these histories kind of just come, and sometimes it can be super heavy, but we're not doing that right now. Right now, we're just looking for things that move us, and this moves me. Someone put my little pile right here. Ah, check that out. Love that. Oh, look how beautiful she is. Okay, this moves me. This definitely moves me. Oh, look at that. So again, there's tons of things, and take your time to kind of go over it. I'm going a little quick for time's sake. There is also a lot of other countries, like I said, that are part of our Latino diaspora, right? So let's be fluid with that and embrace that. Check this out. Oh my goodness. Owls have such an important significance in a lot of indigenous tribes and cultures, right? Beautiful. Oh, check that out. Oh, look how beautiful this is. So a lot of times when I see something like this, I think about it, right? I'm like, oh, well, it's beautiful, but maybe it doesn't reflect me because I'm a Mexican man, but I still want to make space for it, right? Sometimes the best way to be an ally is not to make art about the subject you want to support or be supportive of, but instead we make space for other people in the directly affected or in that community to have a space to create art and to be, right? And I just love colors. I love how all of this just is fun, right? Because at the end of the day, we want to have fun. Oh my goodness, look at all these colors. So it's endless. The possibilities are endless, my friends. Look at this texture. Wow. So I kind of, look at that. Oh, so cool. Oh, look at him. See, and here's the importance of being able to see your reflection in a person, right? Like I see this man and he looks maybe 20 years older than I, but I'm seeing him and he looks happy, he looks strong. And I'm like, yeah, that's the kind of adult, older person I want to become. I'm still not an adult, but this is the kind of person that I want to be, right? And our youth need that. Our adults need that. Our older people need that, right? So this is perfect. This is just so much fun. Okay, so this is my later pile, which is so plentiful. And this is my now pile. Look at this. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this. So I'm gonna do with, I'm gonna cut with my blade, so always be careful. And again, you don't have to be precious, right? I'm just gonna cut out this little church. As I was saying, I am Chicano. I am, my parents are Mexican, so I'm from LA. And it's funny because I was raised very sheltered, but in LA, people always assume you're Mexican even if you're not, right? My brother is half Mexican, half Salvadoranian, but people just assume he's Mexican. So it's a really beautiful thing to be able to celebrate our nuances and talk about food, of course, and all the beautiful things, and some not so beautiful things, right? Like our political histories that really do affect our day-to-day lives. Check that out. So what happens when you take something out and you focus on it? Look at that. It all of a sudden, magic starts to happen. In collage, one of the funnest things, one of the magic is juxtaposition. So what happens when I put this with this? All of a sudden, there's communication. It isn't so serious. It isn't so scary, right? The juxtaposition creates magic. What if I turn it around? What's in the back? Look how abstract that is. But somehow, it kind of works, right? So let's keep playing. Now, I can't give you everything in your kit, but you know one of my favorite tools is this. A CD, remember these? All right, the LPs are making a comeback. I wouldn't be surprised if these come back too. So look for a CD or even a plate or a cup and use it as a template and see what happens. So I'm just gonna cut this out. And sometimes even if I have a template, I still make a mess. So remember, this is just paper. This is low risk, high reward. And the fun thing about this is also, as you collage, you realize that not all paper is the same. There's different thicknesses, there's different weights, and it will affect. Like, look at that. We just made a landscape. So I like where this is going. And look at this. So now that I'm working with this, I'm gonna invite you to start thinking about your stories and your histories, right? So like I said, I'm from California. California used to be Mexico, and there's something very colonial and Mexican about this, right? So maybe I'll play with that, or maybe I won't. But I'll be free, right? I'm just gonna be kind of loose with it. So one thing I invite you to do also is to commit, right? Use these stickers to start committing, because if you don't tape things down right away and you start layering, at some point you sneeze and it all goes to heck. So start plotting your collage and see what happens. Okay, so I did have a few figures that I really thought were beautiful. She's amazing, but I think I want to see what I can do with this gentleman. Look how beautiful. So another thing I can do is I can kind of cut his outline, or I can use this to create another circle, right? But let's cut him out. And again, you don't have to be perfect. And what I like to say is that when you're working with your X-Acto knife, it's kind of like drawing. When you collage over and over, you become a better drawer because your eye and hand coordination develops really well. So keep cutting and don't worry about chopping up part of his hand or his foot. It'll happen, it's okay. Check this out. And because I'm asking you to just make a pile of things that inspire you, it's when you're cutting, when you choose one over the other, that things, conversations, symbolisms start to appear, right? So as I'm cutting, I'm wondering, oh wow, what is this person doing? Are they in ritual? Are they praying? Are they playing a game perhaps? So all of these new questions arise, right? So one thing also, when you have grass like that, it's kind of just fun to mimic the movement so you don't have to spend your whole day cutting out each blade of grass, right? So be playful and take your time. Also, as I'm cutting this, I'm looking at this figure and I'm wondering, wow, you know, I'm from Mexico and we're of indigenous descent. A few generations back, how connected would I be to this person, and how would I be speaking? How would I be dressed? How would I be living, right? So it's a beautiful thing to explore instinctively. Check this out. Isn't that magic? And we just have 3 elements right here, my friends, right? 1, 2, 3. And already there's a lot of conversation that can happen. I'm specifically interested in, personally, in ideas of spirituality and connection to the divine. So this is very much my point of view. You could be doing something completely different, completely fun, and that's fantastic. So lean into whatever you want to happen in your collage. So I like it. I'm gonna put this right here. I also loved this because it was kind of like silly, right? And one thing you're gonna find is that you'll be attracted to things and you won't know why. And I was just talking about the divine, and look what it says here. Like, oh my God. So lean into whatever calls your name, because believe it or not, the things you need will find you, my friends. They will find you. So I'm gonna make a thought bubble. You know, like in the comic books, I think it's always really fun to create thought bubbles. So what if my person in my collage is saying this? And I like it because I mean it seriously, but there's a playfulness to it, right? Like, look at that. How fun is that? You guys, So I've been doing this for a while. So for me, I can create collages really fast, lose my tape, but create collages really fast. So again, you take your time and enjoy the process. I really enjoy spending time looking through magazines and doing the same thing, pulling things out that call my name, right? So this is the part where I get to have some fun with my dots. So one thing that I enjoy doing is looking at it, right? And saying, oh, there are a lot of cool colors here. So let me mix it up a little bit by adding some warm colors, right? So instead of the blues and the greens, I'm gonna tap into the pinks, the yellows, the purples, and see what happens. So I think the greatest contrast, right? The difference would be maybe the hot pink. So let me see what happens. And maybe I just want to kind of accentuate the circle. Okay, so I'm gonna commit to putting the collage on the substrate. So center that. And if you're stuck for whatever reason, just start with one image and think about it as a proxy, right? And what do I mean by a proxy? Something that represents you. So to me today, I think this central figure represents me, another version of me. And it gives me kind of a license to play around, right? Like he obviously did not say that, but I'm saying it, and he is my proxy, right? So there is this play with narratives and stories that start to happen very fluidly when you allow yourself to explore. There is a lot of power when you allow yourself to play and say things in art context that you wouldn't normally say in your everyday life, right? So I'm usually not in ritual with nature as much as I'd like to, but to project myself through this collage to this experience gives me so much inspiration and power, right? And it connects me to something, even though I'm not Native American, even though I'm not connected to my indigenous roots from Mexico, there is a connection here. There is a draw, and that is super powerful. So I can keep on going forever, right? But I think I'm going to stop here and call it a collage. Now let's look at it really quick. Something that I love to do after you've made your collage, put it away for a minute, bring it back, and then look at it. So I can say, wow, what's going on in this collage? What's going on in this picture? Forget that I made it and just see what's happening, right? So there is this beautiful landscape with another landscape, and it almost looks like a portal. There's a moon, there's a figure with a wand perhaps, maybe he's conducting music, maybe he's orchestrating magic, who knows? And there's a thought bubble here that says, like, oh my God. And we don't know, right? It could be like oh my God, a positive thing, it could be a negative thing. You can play with that, and that's a really exciting part. People can interpret that in whichever way they want. And I love these little stickers because, again, it kind of activates with color. It activates movement and rhythm, right? I can almost hear like twinkling, right? And as I say that, I think I want to add more stickers here just to add to the twinkling of it. Can you hear it? Okay, maybe one more here. And of course, just one more. I see I could do this forever. So I'm inviting you, please take your time with these and do as many as you can. You have a lot of supply in your kit. So this is my collage. I invite you, this is your call to action, to create a collage and find a way to tell your stories through them. And then create a community. Invite someone to make a collage with you and have them share their stories. Because I think the most important thing about Latino Heritage Month, about Black History Month, is to find the connections, to find the parallels, and most importantly, the reflections that allow us to feel connected, right? because also as Americans, we can really take strength in all of our differences and our similarities. So that was it, you guys. This is Luis Martin, the art engineer, inviting you to tell your story and find so much power in our collective histories. All right, have a great one.